Well, welcome, Jamie. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you. And I feel like this is going to be a pretty special episode. In some ways, it feels self-serving because, we're going to be working together, but I felt like there's a whole story to this, and the way that I've been telling people, and I'll let you introduce yourself. I'll let you talk a little bit about what you're working here. So I've been telling people that I'm joining this really cool tech startup founded by a woman, leadership team about 80% women. We're all moms, we're all women of color, and because when you think about tech startup, at least for me, I think for a lot of people too, the image that comes up is like the Silicon Valley tech bro,
Yep.
right? Cold plunges in the morning, do
Yeah.
buzzwords and all that. And this just feels very different, almost anti that. So
Yeah.
let's dive in. Like, tell people who you are, tell people what you're building, because I sure
Yeah.
am as excited, but it's time for them to hear from you.
Well, yeah, my name is Jamme Alexander. I'm originally from Council Bluffs, Iowa, believe it or not. That's where I was born and raised. Was there till about 12 years old. Parents split up. My dad went to Omaha, Nebraska. So I was kind of back and forth between each places all the way until my 20s, really early 20s.
Yeah.
I've always been an entrepreneur, always just been kind of like a go-getter. And, I once I get my mind on something, I have to go do it. So, um, started with artwork. Honestly, I became an artist like back in 2014. I don't know. I graduated high school in '03. I guess I'm saying my age now. So, but then slowly kind of started, I was in corporate America like everybody else,
Mm-hmm.
managing apartment complexes, always in the hospitality industry. So I've always done wait staff and service. And then I ended up getting like my bar management license and started bartending here and there. And then once I moved to Arizona 4 years ago, I immediately went into entrepreneurship mode because at this point I have kids. And I'm just like, I can't, we wanted to stay home with the kids. That was kind of our thing is mom was going to stay home. I did a little bit of homeschooling with my older daughter. She's
Mm-hmm.
16 now. I homeschooled her around fifth and sixth grade. So I kind of got a taste of what that world was like. And I really liked it for us, for our family.
Yeah.
And then even now, like our kids are in school now. This month we're talking real heavy about homeschooling the boys now and,
Mm.
instilling in them our culture and what we want them to learn and all the things, that they're not getting. um, so yeah, moving here 4 years ago, we were kind of just on a mission. I was, heavy in my entrepreneurship field. I started my event company, Zen Events, where we had mobile bartenders and wait staff, and we did a bunch of we do
Mm.
weddings all the time and just corporate events mostly. Um, Went into that. Now, mind you, in 2017, I ended up going to trade school because I clearly have to do like 1,000 things at once. I went to trade school for commercial drone software
Mm-hmm.
development, which is kind of how
Okay.
we ended up meeting through the tech field. But went to school for that, started building drones and programming them. So right off the bat, I didn't look like anybody, I'm finding out obviously the huge gap in the tech industry when it comes to women, period, but then
Yeah.
minority women on top of it. So as I'm doing this, I'm like, I have got to create, like, I'm doing my event company, but I'm like, I got to create something for my drone company. Like, what? So I come up with really the first name of our first company was 88 Degrees. I created with some classmates at 88 Degrees Technologies. And we went more into like app development for drones and things like that. And then
Mm.
once I ended up getting my certification, so I'm commercial drone software developer, but I'm also cross-trained in machine learning and embedded systems, autonomous systems, AI engineering, accelerated computing, so coding and things of
Mm-hmm.
that sort. Uh, I ended up once I got all of my training, I ended up creating Engineering Women, which really was just a place for me. I'm like, I have to create somewhere for me where I feel comfortable to do what I
Mm.
want to do in this field because I haven't seen anything and all these areas I'm inserting myself in. I'm just like, okay, this isn't it. This isn't working. So
Yeah.
I started to create my own world. And I've always lived by that motto, create the world you want to live in. So it
Yes.
was kind of perfect. Yeah, I started creating this own world. And then eventually, I had my daughter. She ended up becoming a drone pilot once we moved here to Arizona, and she's created a few applications. So then it really like became perspective to me, like, okay, if I want
Mm,
to do this thing, I know I can do it, and
yeah.
I just started to insert myself in different networking groups here. Women, there's a lot of women tech networking groups, believe it or not. They're getting bigger
Hmm.
by the day. And still, when you go, you do not see minority women in these groups. It's your Asians, it's your white women, and all these corporate leaders. And still, I'm still a minority in this group. But I also notice by me just inserting myself and being here, it's making other people like me. Like, wait a minute, if she's in this, and what is she doing? It's just at least making them curious to
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
want to tap into different things that are going on and even learn about AI or whatever it is that they want to tap into, that it's at least triggering their mind to want to kind of dive into to see what's going on in this field. So yeah, that's a little
Yeah.
bit about my story and how I ended up here.
That's so something I did not already know is the fact that you were an artist.
Yeah.
And it's kind of made me think like, oh, I bet there's that underlying creativity,
Yeah.
right, as an artist that goes into the tech, the
Yeah.
design, the coding. So tell like what do you think? Do you think there's something to that?
100%. Yeah, no. And even growing up, it goes all the way back to my dad. So my dad was, he's always been an entrepreneur, but he's always been really good with his hands. Like I watched him build a house. I have watched
Wow.
him. He has always had a band. He was the lead singer of a band like my whole life.
Nice.
So my uncle was a drummer, and my dad played the harmonica and bongo. So there's always instruments around in my house, and
Hmm.
late night jam sessions all night, like going on down in the basement. So I kind of grew up with that. And then on the flip side, my mom was always in the corporate world. So she worked for Oriental Trading as their head buyer and traveled to
Hmm.
like Hong Kong. And she went all these places my whole life.
Wow.
So we traveled a lot too. So, and then she was a seamstress too before she went into her corporate position. But we used to always make our clothes and all this stuff growing up. So I
Mm,
kind of come from both these worlds of corporate and entrepreneurship. And seeing my parents do that, it just immediately like, okay, I can do whatever I put my mind to, like, because I
yeah.
watched them. So yeah, no, being an artist, my dad drew too. And
Mhm.
then once I got like into elementary, I got real heavy into sculpting. I still have like all my pottery and my sculptures around the
Oh my
house.
goodness, what do you not do, Jamie?
Yeah.
Like the more I find out about you, the more it's like, oh my goodness, you are a creator.
I am. And I was even like in swing choir and theater and all. I used to just love to put myself out there when I was younger. And then as I got older, I'm like, okay, how can I take like all this stuff that I learned growing up and like profit off of it with my own business and my own brand?
Yeah.
And I have like four different, companies. One is for art and it's Priceless Privileges, art by Jamme Alexander. And then I have my holistic healing line because I got into candles and, doing all my
Hmm.
room sprays and stuff like that. And once I got into vendor events with trees, that's the name of my holistic line. It really opened my mind to just the entrepreneurship world because well, first I was painting like and doing all that stuff and I'd jump into vendor events and I'm like, okay, it's really hard to sell art. Like people will buy it, but you got to find your people that really, that want to buy
Yeah.
it. So when I kind of switched into trees and doing the holistic thing, I just saw like I think I was out there for 3 hours. Like I don't know. I was like on my fifth vendor event, and I was out there for like 3 hours, and I had made $800. And I'm
Hmm.
like, wait a minute. So you just get to see the shit. Like if I just shift and
Hmm.
do this, like just where people's minds are even at, and what they'll invest
Yeah.
in and what they like to invest in. So I just got really intrigued by that. Like that's I feel like what keeps me going as an entrepreneur because I do get intrigued behind like just the psychology of where
Mm,
the world is, what they're buying, what triggers them to
yeah.
want to buy things. And you do see that it is your piece, the artwork and the things that make people feel good.
Yeah.
Um, That's kind, yeah. So I've been real just heavy into art. Art is always my foundation, and then everything else kind of comes after. That's what keeps me
Yeah,
at peace,
I
though.
love that. Yeah, to
Yeah.
me, in many ways, I resonate with that because I always feel like I w would have been an artist in a different life. You
Yeah.
know, in many ways, I think, like for example, my sister, brilliant artist, like the stuff that she's drawn, sorry,
Hmm.
I've told her, I said, you could work for Pixar.
Yeah.
Like that's how good she is. But guess what? She's an accountant.
She. That's
So,
funny.
but that, my sister and I, we're both very like the examples
She can
of,
do both. I'm always
yeah,
like, do both.
yeah, you can do both.
Oh my
But there's a part of
goodness.
her where I feel like so much of that artistry also got suppressed because we
Yeah.
do live in a society where, as you see, or you saw the art is hard as a
Hmm.
career, and we had the traditional, very strict, very rigorous Chinese parenting where it's you pursue the things that make you money and get you stability. And so that means if you're artistic, if you're creative, that's great, that's a hobby
Yep.
if you have time. And
Yep.
so the way that I unleash my artistry today is, oftentimes when I have to create things for the women I coach, like, I get a little bit of that joy just in creating things. But I know that that's not necessarily where my calling may be, but I
Yeah.
get you. Sometimes the way that it triggers your brain, it activates all of you,
Yeah.
not just the left side thinking.
Yep. No, I like literally thrive in that creative space. Like I have to always be doing something that is just gonna
Hmm.
bring me, just not just peace, but like I don't know. I'm always wanting to create. And I found out with art, art is so timeless, obviously. We all know that. But I still to this day, so I started Priceless Privileges, God, like in 2006. And
Hmm.
people were buying my art heavy then. To this day, they're, hey, look, like it's in my bathroom, and they're
Mm.
sending me pictures of my art, which is all around the world. So it's just
Oh,
crazy
that's
to see.
fantastic.
Yeah, and like family members of family members of family members bought it, in Australia. So like
Mm.
it's just cool to see people still popping in, like, hey, we have your
Yeah.
artwork. So
Well,
yeah,
and more
that's
than that,
always
it seems
sweet.
like you're impacting lives too. It's not
For
just that,
sure.
oh, you have a product that somebody will buy, but it's
Yeah.
it's bringing them joy, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah, it's a different kind of
I don't
feeling.
even look at it that way because I'm just always joy, joy here. Like,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I don't even really look at it that way. But it is, yeah, it definitely brings people happiness and peace.
absolutely. So, with engineering women,
Yes.
when you said that, it came about because you wanted to create the world that you wanted to live in. And it reminded me of just the fact that so many entrepreneurs actually start businesses because they wanted to solve their own problem. And
Yep.
then they realized that, oh, a lot of other people could benefit from this,
Like
right?
everybody's problem. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in some ways, like with my background in coaching, it's similar, not quite the same. I've always been in the space, but the way that I'm approaching it now with women, it came about because I had myself gone through these phases, these, seasons where I'm like, whoa, if I'm experiencing this, if I'm coming into this revelation and this transformation, then other people will too. So
Yeah.
I really resonate with the fact that, you said it birthed out of this need
Yeah.
because you saw a need that you experience, and you're like, I'm going to solve it for myself, and I'm going to try to solve it for other women.
Yep.
And
Yep.
now it's expanded into something that I feel like is very, very humanity, very community centered and very
Yes.
focused in that. Tell people, like, what is your vision?
Yeah.
Like let's say it's in 5 years, 10 years,
Yeah.
what would engineering women have done and given the world?
Well, it's already started. I mean, just the thought of the time, even I didn't even think when I called it engineering women, I really was just knew I was an engineer. I knew I
Hmm.
wanted to team up with other engineering
Yeah.
women that it didn't matter whether they were mechanical engineers or chemical engineers. I just knew if I could get a group of us together, kind of towards one mission, that we would be powerful, period. So
Mm.
I was like, okay, I know I want it to be engineering women. What is the focus? So obviously I'm in the drone industry, so I wanted to more so go towards getting women certified as Part 107 drone pilots. So I started
Mm.
with my daughter. I'm like, okay, let's see. We'll start with you. I put her through a drone and AI course, and She was certified within like 3 days. So I was like,
Wow. Okay.
okay, now like she's 16. If she can do it, I'm like, and I knew I did it when I think I was 30 when I actually became a certified drone pilot. And a lot of people don't know, but it's the same test that you have to take to become an air pilot. You're just flying
Wow.
a drone.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to know everything that's going on up there with the clouds and the weather and
Oh, oh
just
yeah, yep,
everything.
yep.
Yeah. So that's the same test we had to take, but I wanted to see if my daughter could do it, you know? So I'm like, 13 is kind of where you want to start with the kids.
Hmm.
Because if you think about it, by the time they're in high school, they already know kind of, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, and they're just like kind of
Sure.
stuck in what they want to do. If you can catch them right before they go into high school, they're still just like, what am I going to be when I grow up? And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, hey, you guys, yeah, we can go to school, we can go to college. Nobody's knocking any of that. But if you honestly don't know what you want to do, which I didn't, all through college, I just went for business management. And then I actually became a manager at Macy's. So I was like, okay, I'm in college for something I'm already doing. Like, so I used to think like that all the time. So that's what kind of led me into, okay, there's trade schools and there's all these different things I can do if I just want to like
Hmm.
continue to be that creative.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but where I saw obviously in the tech industry was generational wealth. I'm like,
Mm,
okay, if I'm going to be this creative, which I was born to be, how can I maneuver myself and position myself in an industry where I can create some generational wealth for my family? Because we don't come from that. So
yeah.
I'm like, this is the field. So as soon as I got done with trade school, I knew exactly engineering women, and I wanted it to be. So today it's a workforce development community or business where we are a team of leaders and women engineers. We're not all engineers, but we are engineers in our own fields. You know, we're
Yeah, yeah.
pioneering our own areas. We're all entrepreneurs or own our own businesses. Which was really, I wouldn't say mandatory of what I was looking for, but as women and as we grow, you want to surround yourself around where you're at in life, other married women who
Yeah,
have children, who own a business, because then I don't have to explain anything. You guys already
yeah,
know right where I stand and
yeah.
why I'm doing or moving how I'm moving. So I just, for so many years, just get ahead of myself and trying to think future of, where do I want this thing to be 5 to 10 years from now? I want to see engineering women be the reason all of us have a boost to success in this tech
Mm,
industry.
yeah,
So that's just where my mind has always been for years. And I think that's part of the artist in me. Like,
yeah,
just the
yeah,
the visual and like if I do this now, 10 years from now, I mean, we could have done so much together as a group of women to help change kind of the trajectory of what's going on already. This traditional, like bot system, which I like to call it,
yeah,
it's just
yeah,
like a
yeah.
bot, I feel like at all times.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I,
It
I feel like
is.
you and I were in the same wavelength recently because I just had
Yeah.
this realization. Yeah.
Yep. I
That,
feel
yeah,
like we're
we're
in
like
this bot
bots.
system all the time. Like everything is just like all mundane and mandatory. And I'm like, no, we don't all learn like that. Like I don't learn and
Hmm.
just like this structure that's going on. Like I have to stay in my creative world. And I think that's what's happening is they're trying to take us creatives out of that space. And
Hmm.
like we're real hard to we're real hard to
Yeah.
take out. So
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing that I felt like was very much of like a heart-centered work with engineering women is actually the workforce development piece.
yeah.
Because when I think about all the different organizations and initiatives out there, they're trying to promote tech for women or for underrepresented groups.
Yeah.
I don't actually know how well they're working. And
Yeah.
this could just be that I'm just not aware. But as far as I see in the tech world, there's still that gender imbalance. And, I didn't leave the corporate world that long ago. And even then, when you look at the population of engineers, it's like 80-90% men.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, the barrier to entry for engineering for women is often so great. And I think a lot of it is the loneliness. You
Yeah.
enter into a world that is very male, that does not consider the female experience, because why
I
should
don't
it? It was not made for us, right?
know.
And so women are, they feel lonely. They feel like they can't voice their individuality because then it's,
Yeah.
oh, because you're a woman, it's this.
Yep.
Any dip in performance, any slight, any small error will be attributed to your gender.
Yep.
And so to me, this is like a very direct way of expanding career options because you're so right.
Yeah.
We're like bots in the sense that you do well in school, you get a degree, you go do that job, you live your middle class life, have
Yep.
your house, your kids, and then your 9 to 5, and you should be good to go.
Yep.
And it's like, well,
Yep.
what if we're meant for more? You
Well,
know?
I look back at everybody like I went to school with, and they all went and got their degrees. None of
Mhm.
them are working in their field today. They're all asking me questions about what am I doing? How did I get to where I'm at? And I'm like, I've never, never said don't go. I went to college. I've never been that person that's don't go to college, but go if you know what you really want to do.
Yeah,
If not, there's so many other opportunities out here where you don't have to get in debt and you can literally hit the ground running with an idea. You just got to find these incubators and these hubs because they're here to help us,
yeah.
especially women. And I think that's where a lot of people and it could be just where the world is today, all this chaos, but there really is a lot of resources out there for us as
Mhm.
women. Like, I would not be in the position I'm in today if it wasn't for the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Program
Mm,
back in Nebraska. I got into it for free because I was a mother. Um, I was a mom, which they allowed me to jump into their courses for free for being a
yeah.
mother. As soon as I got in, I obviously I had to qualify to get in that aspect, but as soon as I got in, my drone was free, my schooling was
Mm,
free. They set me up with a job if I wanted one out of the gate. When I got done, I went into their apprenticeship program and became a teacher
mm,
assistant. So I like really like embedded myself in it, and
yeah.
then I knew what I wanted to do. I was like, no, I'm gonna get out and start my own thing because
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, I don't like to be like told what to do or like,
Same.
yeah, I'm like, I need to run my own thing because I know like, and that too, like I look at other like managers of corporations and I'm always like, if they can do it, I know I can. And I know I'll do
Mhm.
it better because I have a
Yeah.
heart and I wear my heart on like my sleeve, but as we get older, we learn, how to reel that back in here and there.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to always preach and give the message that women, we can do it too. Like we're not,
Yeah.
for the longest, we've just thought we're just supposed to go to work and work this 9 to 5. I'm like, no, why can't we own the Best Buy too? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
why can't
Absolutely.
we own the mall or it just literally is coming up with a plan, having a goal, and
Mhm.
just constantly picking away at it until voila, it's just 8 years later.
Yeah.
You don't know how long it's going to take, but I do give myself goals, the 3, 5, 10 year
Hmm.
goals. So even when I moved here, I told Eric, let's 3 years in we will have our feet in the sand
Hmm.
here, just give me a minute because that's just how I move. 3 years
Yeah.
in we had a fully functioning event company that I booked 50 events a year, and then we were able to get in the doors and to network for the engineering company, so it just grew more and
Yeah.
more, and now here we are thriving with engineering women and going after funding.
So, Jamie, I don't know if you realize how much of a role model your life story actually is.
I
Like,
don't, because I
but
feel like, yeah, I'm just like, I'm in my own world all the time and I attract other me's.
hmm.
So it takes me talking really honestly and doing interviews like that to really see, like, oh, what you're doing isn't normal.
It's not. And there's something that I've coined. It's called radical accountability. And I feel like you naturally live that. Because when you said you moved here and then you told your partner, in 3 years, this is what's going to happen,
Yep.
right? Most people could not muster even to get to that point. They'll
Hmm.
say someday, wouldn't it be nice? I would love to, but maybe.
Hmm.
They stop themselves
Yeah,
before they even give themselves a chance. It's like I always say, don't cut yourself off before the world does it for you. It's going to do it for you. Don't be the first one to do it. Don't beat the world to the
exactly.
punch. And
Yeah.
and there's so much power in you voicing not just thinking, but literally saying it out loud. By this time, this
Yeah.
is what's going to happen.
Yep.
And I think that's the power in that, I think, is it. So I don't want to get too woo-woo, but it's not, it's a form of manifestation,
Yeah,
right?
that
It's
is
because manifestation really is about you think it, you put it down, you make it physical through writing, through saying it out loud,
yeah,
and now it's this real thing. And if you have a sense of accountability, you will be drawn to try to get that done. You're priming
100%.
your brain, you're setting the intention, and that in this physical form, the observable form is
Yeah.
this is what you're doing. You're gonna make, you're not gonna do the things. That means you're going to start booking, events with your event company that
Yep.
maybe leads you closer to certain proximities to certain people, right?
Yep. Yep.
And I think that in of itself is so powerful that like there could be a master class in just that one piece you
Just
said.
that. Yep.
Yeah, because most people, like I said, do not even get to that stage of saying,
Yeah.
by this, I will do this. It is so freaking scary to a lot of
It
people.
is.
It's
It
so
really
freaking
starts
scary.
with how you talk to yourself. How
Yeah,
are you talking to yourself in your brain every day? And I
yeah.
think I've become this way because I was surrounded by that my whole life, around
Mm,
all the doubters. They'd wake up and tell themselves they can't do it and they're not gonna do it. And I just watched that. I'm such an observer. I have watched things my whole life just with relatives and friends and atmospheres. Like I'm real big on the atmosphere I'm in. Like I love to move alone because I'm so big on atmosphere. I
yeah,
have to be taking in positive to stay creative. You have to like always remain in this positive frequency. And
yeah,
to be in that frequency, it's about what you're feeding. And I can take in I can see what's going on in the world and I can
yeah.
take it in, but I'm really good at compartmentalizing and not letting that energy touch me. Like there's
Hmm.
just like I feel like this aura or orb around me that won't allow that the trauma or the pain that's going on in the world to touch me because I do have to stay creative and I do have to
Yeah,
my thought I have to stay positive, for these
yeah,
kids.
yeah.
So it's just is what it is. I don't know. I was
It might just come
doing it this
naturally
way.
to you, but for a lot
Yeah.
of people, I think we have to grow into this, right?
Yeah.
This ability to choose.
Yeah.
And I think we're like, I think what I would love for a lot of women to know and to get out of your story too is this understanding that even how you feel about things, even how you look at things is a choice.
Yeah.
Like we tend to just react, but really, there, even if you feel really, really shitty about something, I always say, take note of that.
Yep.
Why does it make you feel shitty? What brings it up for you? Is it because it reminds you of how you're limiting yourself?
Yep.
Does it feel shitty because it's maybe that's the motivation to get you out of the space you're in? Like everything you feel is a signal. Like
Yep.
listen to it. Don't necessarily react, but listen to it.
Yep.
And yeah, you're so right. A lot of it just starts with how do you talk to yourself? Because
Yeah.
you shared earlier, you grew up in a family where your mom made stuff
Yep.
while being a corporate badass, and your
Yep.
dad was an artist. So you grew up thinking like, yeah, you can do things, you can create things, and you
Yep.
can produce.
Yeah.
Right. And so in your head, it's like, yeah, if I want something, I'm gonna make it.
Yeah. I'll make it happen myself.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. I love that.
Yeah.
So something that I think also that could be helpful for women to understand, especially like you said, a lot of us who are moms and maybe we started one career and we're trying to pivot or we're thinking maybe this season of my life is over, not over, but like maybe it's done and I need to
Yeah.
move on to something else. They often think, well, because I have kids and all that, and life is just like it's just there's just real life constraints, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you've been able to manage the different lines of responsibilities in your life. I think they would love to know, how are you doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, well, first, I guess the company that I created Zen Events, it really was just so broad. I was able to like add a lot of different streams of income to it. So it was like my creative
Mm,
bubble. If I wanted to go do balloon garlands that day, or
yeah.
that week, I got into a moment where I was showing up and doing balloon garlands for different schools around the valley here. But then I noticed, okay, I was putting a lot of work into getting these blue, was it really matching
Yeah.
the money I'm making? And so then I pivoted. I was able to pivot so much in Zen events to where that I'm like, okay,
Mm,
if I become a bar manager, so I was always into bartending here and there. So I was like, if I become a bar manager and offer private mobile bartending to these private events around the valley. Let's see how that goes. So the next week I started doing that, became a licensed bar manager, which was very easy. I went online and took a course. I think it was 17 bucks, but they really like people think you have to go to like bartending school and all these things. It's like they just want you to have your license and have a
Hmm.
little bit of training. But when you're in this entrepreneurial world and people are just hiring you for their private events, they want you to have your license and to know how to make their margaritas and palomas. You just get good at
Yeah,
what
yeah,
drinks
yeah.
they like to drink here, and then beer, of course. So I think a lot of the times people stump themselves before they even think about like, no, there's like the world is literally an oyster. You can create things, especially once you have your LLC and can get creative up under it. Like you can create. I've done so many things under Zen events. I can't even like think right now. I've done mobile bartending. We've done wait staff. We've hired out private chefs. We have hired out DJs. We've hired out dance floors. And I'll just third party it. Like I'll get
Mhm,
real tight with the company that was at the last wedding I was at. I'm always networking. I get
mhm,
everybody's business cards at every event I do. And I have a
mhm.
Rolodex of all the entrepreneurs in the valley to throw an event. So
Mm,
yeah, if we want fire girls, like I'm just a networker. I will get their information at the event. And then I
yeah.
got to a point, I had a couple people that wanted to hire bartenders from us for their events. One was at it's called Sora now, but it was Connect at the time. And it's just a downtown skyrise full of ASU students. They throw
Hmm.
events 4 times a month. So they bring in DJs. They would call me like, hey, we need a DJ, we need catering, and we need a bartender. These 4 dates
Hmm.
this month. So now we're locked in for 4 dates a month at that place. So then I was able to grow my team. Now I'm looking for, and what's crazy is my team became other moms. It's
I
me. We're
love
all
that. Oh my
single
gosh.
moms. We're trying to make money on the weekend outside of our corporate jobs. Here I am giving them cash. I would literally, I mean, it really got to a point like, because my team is so solid right now, the ones I'm able to like send out because we're a team of mothers and I pay them when they arrive. They'll call me and say, hey, I just got here. I'm like, all right, I'm sending your money now. That way they feel good while they're
Mm,
bartending or throughout. And
yeah.
then I get calls from everybody like, the bartender was amazing. I'm like,
Yeah.
perfect. Like,
It's like you take that worry off the table. Like,
yes,
hey,
yes.
I got you. And you know what? This is again, folks. Like, are you seeing why I'm excited to join Jamie in her startup?
Yeah.
Because your story also reminds me of this principle that when women build wealth, the community
Yes,
becomes wealthy.
we do.
And that's the huge differentiator. And people don't take this the wrong way. Don't get weird about this, but a lot of times when men build wealth, they keep it to themselves,
Yeah.
right? They're reinvesting on their own portfolio and they grow their own. Again, kudos. That's
No.
great. You should not saying you shouldn't do that. And there's an element when a woman builds a community and builds wealth, the whole community thrives.
They all eat. Yeah. And that's what
Yeah.
I'm noticing here because it is my first time doing this with these businesses and I'm seeing that. I hire men too. And I'll even tell you, like, the reactions are different. When I send a male bartender out versus a female bartender, I get the
Mhm.
responses from the client. So, they'll tell me I have so many repeat clients here in the valley too.
Yeah.
My Zen events literally was all done off of word of mouth. I didn't really promote. It was just I would do an event, I would get 4 more events at that event. I would do that event, I'd get 8 more at that event. And then it just became I was the bartender they're gonna call. I'm the service they're gonna
Mm,
call. So I have a ton of repeat clients and I'm always sending out team members and they'll let me know. These clients will let me know, like, hey, the
yeah.
energy of that one you sent the last one was way better. Send her next time.
I
They'll let
love
me know.
that.
So we're like friends at this point. We're a community and yeah, it's just all different races, all different backgrounds. It's
Hmm.
super sweet to see what you can really do when you get outside of yourself and just let
Yeah.
yourself flow. Like you really do create and build your own community and they become family. Now I'm
Mm.
going to their kid's birthday party. I'm coming like
Yeah, yes, you
I know.
are.
I'm going to your daughter's birthday party Saturday, but I literally am going. I got hired by a client third time. I send a bartender to her events now because she invites me to the birthday party for her kid. So
Yeah,
I now am like a friend of my clients and I'm coming and I'm sent my staff is on the event I'm at. So
yeah.
it's the community you build and it really
Yeah.
is come down to who you are, like, and how you're thinking, and all of that matters.
Yeah, I almost feel like the title of this, I know you picked the theme, but I almost feel like the title is, can really design your life through entrepreneurship because that's,
Yeah.
I think, your, and not to say that it's always easy, right? I mean,
Oh, it's not.
there's ups and downs and we
Yeah.
experience losses too. Um, but you're gonna have that whichever path you choose, I think.
Yeah.
And then, one thing that I think I keep going back to that I feel inspired by with you, what you're doing for women and the community around tech and AI is that, and I'm thinking about like this, a woman, right? And I have friends who are like this, and I know there are women in the community like this who, let's say they're newly divorced and they have multiple children. They've
Yeah.
been a stay-at-home mom, and now they're looking at their resume and they're going, it's been a number of years since I've been to the workforce. What
Yep.
now?
Yep.
Right? And in many ways, it's like, well, yeah, times have changed,
Yeah.
but also you can get up to speed more quickly now.
Yes.
So I want to know, like, I think other women would want to know, like, if they find themselves at the place where, like, holy shit, what do I do next? Like,
Yeah.
I've got kids to feed, and I'm losing confidence in myself, and I don't know what to do. Like, what would you tell them?
Well, being in the entrepreneurial world, it's like that all the time. I feel like, it's up and down. So,
Yeah.
but even before that, my last corporate job when I was managing apartments, they ended up firing me when I was 6 months pregnant with Legend.
Mm,
So, talk about shock. I'm like, oh my God, I'm about to have a baby. And then that was the time me and Eric just kind of came together, and he was like, you know what? I think you should probably stay home with the kids anyway, because it'll be cheaper on us. We won't have to pay for daycare. Like,
yeah.
so it just became a really a teaching moment for me and him and our marriage. And I've been home ever since, but I've always kept, whether I was doing Instacart or I've just always kept a little hustle on the side to always keep money coming in. He's always been the full time, just
Mm,
working and making sure the bills are being paid. But I can't just, I'm just a woman that has to be doing stuff. So
hmm
I'm always creating on the side. So it kind of gave me a perfect place to be able to grow and create my other businesses and kind of test the waters with the different products I had. So when I got in that position, I was scared at first, but then I just looked at it like, oh my God, the world, like there's so much I can do. I just have to figure out how to get some steady income here. And
Mm,
then, like, with one of my gifts, which ended up being the like the massage oil candles, and then Zenny
yeah, yeah,
Hands bartending. And before I knew it, I had like 5 or 6 different streams of income within these two businesses. And I was able to just like play with them a little bit, Then
yeah.
it became fun. On who do I really want to work with, and who do I want to bring in, and help me with this thing. So I don't know. I don't live in fear for too long. I'll get, scared a little bit, but then my brain's
hmm
move. I'm just real quick, like, okay, what can I do?
Yeah,
How can I do, what and how can I do the next best thing? So I don't sit too
yeah.
long in that, in fear. I've always been very fearless in my life. And
Mm.
I do think that has a big part of it. Like, it comes from watching a lot of people live in fear around me.
Oh,
Yeah, like I've never been the one I don't weigh on the issues or what's going to go
yeah,
wrong. I will immediately, okay, what's the solution? Like, what can we do?
yeah,
How
yeah.
can we make this better? And let's build on that instead of the what ifs or, I've never been that type of person, which I think has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, it seems like it. I mean, just the resilience too that I don't know if you've ever attributed kind of just the way you operate also to resilience, because I do see that there's a lot of resilience in you. I mean,
Yeah,
just that point of like being pregnant and then at 6 months and then you get fired. I mean, Legend is your third child, right? Is your
he's
second.
the second. He's the second.
Okay.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, you're probably thinking, oh my God, I got two kids,
Yeah.
right? And I got
Yeah.
me. And then, the healthcare and, all that stuff
Yeah.
comes up. And for you to be able to just flip and be like, oh, now this is an opportunity. And I love that because, as painful as it can be, I
Yeah.
often think that when the world cuts you off from certain things, it really is a sign that now you have this out of your way so that you can actually pursue what you want because maybe you
Exactly.
wouldn't have if you had stayed in that job
Yep.
or it would have taken you longer.
Yeah, and I look at it like that too. If all this chaos is going on, it's God showing me that you're not supposed to be here anymore. You are like you've been here long enough. I was at
Mm.
that job for 10 years. So, I mean,
And
it
they
was
fired you when
time.
you were pregnant after
Yeah.
10 years?
Oh, yeah,
Oh
I
my
had two kids
gosh.
there. I had my daughter there, and then I got pregnant with Legend. And once again, it was one of those situations where and, you know, when you work in these workplaces, you get those employee relationships where they're mad I'm not hanging out with them. You know, I'm not coming to the functions outside of work. I've never been
The
that.
politics, yeah.
Yes, the politics of it. So it became to where I'm not coming to the events, and then it created like a jealousy thing with the manager and me.
Mm.
Yeah, and she ended up she found a reason to get me out of there.
Oh,
Is
I'm
what
sure.
happened.
I'm
Yeah,
sure.
she
Yeah,
couldn't
where
take
there's
it
a will, there's a
anymore.
way.
Yeah,
They
no, she
always
couldn't
say.
take it anymore. And it
Yeah.
was, and for me, I'm such an observer. I even noticed with the first child I had, she used to try to babysit it all the time. She always wanted my child. And I'm like, and then I had my second child, and it became a problem that, you know, you just see the psychology and the patterns of
Oh,
people when
that's
you've been
interesting.
around them for so long. It really just came down to a choice for me. Like, I was like, you know, do I want to deal with this anymore?
Yeah. Yeah.
And do I want to keep putting myself in this atmosphere? Those are the questions I started asking myself. And I was like 28 at the time, 30.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, kids will wake you up. Having kids
Yes.
makes you ask yourself different questions in your brain. Because
Yes.
immediately I'm like, is this worth it? Do I want my kids around this person every day or this teacher
Hmm.
every day? Like, I literally get all the way down into the nitty gritty of who is training my kids mentally every day.
Yep.
And that's why I said that I've always been open to homeschooling, and I did it a while, and now I'm in a place where I think I might need to do it again just because of where this world is right now. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah. I get you. Yeah.
us as our culture, we're not getting this in any school we go. You know, we're not going to be
Yeah.
able, we're going to have to self teach ourselves about our
Oh,
own history.
oh,
So,
absolutely.
you,
Yes.
so
I think about this too. And, my
often.
daughter has a few more years until, I have to cross that bridge. But
Yeah,
yeah, you bring up something that makes me think. And I'm thinking, you know what? I want to try to educate her through travel. So like
yeah,
I'm big on traveling. So
yep,
that's going to
me
be
too.
my way, I think, as
Yep,
much as I can. So one thing that's also really interesting that I've been telling people and I've been bragging about engineering women is that, the leadership team is basically all women. I know there are
yeah,
men, but
yeah,
it's largely women who, like you said, own their business, have kids and,
yeah.
have had who have had, war stories from corporate. And all of us individually have had our experiences in the corporate world where we did not have the best stories with other women,
No,
where we've experienced a lot of betrayal, a lot of undercutting, passive aggression, a lot of sometimes straight up aggression, So where was your head? What were you not to be like, what were you thinking? But
right.
like what was your headspace like when you thought
Yeah,
about, hey, I want to bring in women? Like
yeah,
you also had
yeah.
similar experiences like that were toxic. So what was
Yeah.
your thinking behind, oh, I want to bring in women when I want to create this?
Yeah, no, I thought long and hard about that because even just everyday life, friendships, you know, I've had the toughest time with women because it's always a visual thing first. You know, they a lot where I came from anyway, especially where I came from, there wasn't a lot of minority women like me. Like, we grew up in a town, and me and my brother were probably, and we're mixed, black and white,
Yeah.
but we were some of the only mixed kids, and there was probably like 8 other black kids. Otherwise, it was predominantly white. So,
Mhm.
and that was in Iowa. I didn't really understand culture, who I even was, until I got like 13, 14, and I started
Mhm.
seeing like other people like me. I'm like, oh, wait, it's not just me here.
Yeah.
Um, so it took me kind of going through those experiences and then getting to the point of just understanding, not just women, but men all
Mhm.
together, you know, just as a whole. I had to really just sit with myself and understand, like, okay, if I'm going to have this business and I'm going to create engineering women, I have to become the woman that I want to attract. So
Yeah.
I went into the tech field. I knew that was me sharpening myself the entire time, getting alone with myself. I'm like a master at being alone. I love being alone. And it blows my mind that people don't like can't sit alone, or they have to have groups of people around them all the time.
Yeah.
because I can't have a lot of input, otherwise my creative spark just it goes out the drain. I need to stay in my creative space with which causes me to have to be alone to think for myself and what I like to do and build.
Yeah.
So me being able to get in that space really just helped me to build engineering women and like how do I want it to look. So I had to become that woman to
Hmm.
attract other women like myself. I feel like that's what happened. um and even then, we're still, every day is a learning curve. So we're still growing. We're still learning every day,
Yeah.
especially with society and what's going on in the world. We're all learning how to be better entrepreneurs, how to be better mothers, wives, and just women in
Yeah.
general, taking care of ourselves first. That's
Hmm.
priority here is self care. So it's kind of the inside out right now for us, even in my family. Like, how is my family going to make the society better? Okay, we got to hone in. We got self-care. We
Yeah.
have to know who we are, like, first, our own culture. Like, if we don't know
Yes.
and the
Yeah.
world doesn't want us to know, who's going to teach us?
Oh my
So
gosh. I almost forgot. Emotional intelligence and wellness are some of the core to
yeah,
what you do. I mean, this
yeah,
is really unique, right? This is why when I tell people, I'm like, this is like an anti-corporate kind of corporate
it
corporate
is.
that we're going
It
to
is
build, right?
inside out.
Yeah, inside out. So, yeah, and your explanation really kind of was, just really wraps that up really nicely. I think, again, I can't say enough to people about how exciting this is going to be. And I think, the world is waiting for
Yeah,
us. So what's next? What can we expect next? I know
yeah.
the back end stuff, but like tell people what's coming up next for engineering women. When can they start to see more things pop up?
Yeah, so we just did our Galentine's and AI event in February 18th. That was our first event coming together as a company. We're looking to launch towards the end of March here. And then we have our first official event for engineering women, which you'll be one of the speakers at.
Yes.
Will be AZ Tech Week. We're going to do it at the studios, which is at the ASU Mix Studio campus in Mesa. And that'll
Mhm.
be April 11th from 5 to 7 p.m. And we'll have a guest panel speakers. It'll be myself, you, Wendy, and then we have our COO, Saskia. We have Dr. Evie. We have
Yeah.
just a really great group of women in their profession that are going to come together and talk a little bit about engineering and designing intelligent systems. So
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. So for folks who are in Arizona, if you are familiar with, the East Valley, the studios is a really, really cool space. I've been there before. So AZ Tech Week, I think, from what I understand, it's also really unique. It's kind of like a decentralized conference. It
Yep. It's
happens all
all over
week.
the city. There's
Yep,
like
all
over
over.
140 events going on from the April 6th to the 11th. So
Yeah, yeah, and
there's
a
a
week
lot going on
long.
in the valley.
Yeah, a lot of innovators, a lot of tech people. If you are looking to work in tech or you are a tech person or you're a tech investor, I think
Yeah.
that's a really great place. And of course, please come see us.
Yes.
We're a powerhouse company, so
Yeah.
I'm really excited about what we can build together. Um, and
It'll be
also,
a great, I just want to add, it'll be a
yeah,
great introductory event for people who are scared to jump in. Like, we're the perfect group of women to just, step in the room
yeah,
and make people feel comfortable coming into this industry. I think engineering women really sets that tone of, hey, we didn't know either, and we're all
yeah,
learning together. And we really have set that tone of just being that group that makes people feel comfortable when they want to learn more about whether
sure.
it's AI drones, ground rovers, whatever it is. So,
Yeah, yeah, amazing. So, folks, and if you're not in Arizona, you will see more things coming out of it. We'll probably record the sessions and put up
yes.
some reels. Um, Tell folks, what is the so mostly my messages is for women.
Yeah.
So, if you wanted to inspire them with one action today, like something that they can do, like one thing, like they watch it, they can get up their seat and go do this one thing that could maybe better themselves, their mindset, something. What
Yeah.
would be that one thing you would offer them?
I think I would just start by saying believe in yourself
Mm,
because you have to believe in yourself before anybody else will around you. And I've noticed that even in my marriage and my, with growing children, like they need to see that you have a vision and you have a
Mhm.
purpose. What is your purpose, in
Yeah,
life? So having that purpose, to have that vision, to set those goals and have that plan, all of that comes with believing in yourself. Like you have to believe in
yeah,
yourself first. So it starts with self-care,
yeah.
self-love, whatever you have to do to get in that positive frequency and mindset to believe in
Mhm.
yourself, then you need to do it. Focus on yourself first.
Absolutely,
Yep.
absolutely. And how should folks keep, abreast of what you do? Like if they want to keep tabs on what we're working on, what you're working on. I know
Yes.
you got multiple stuff happening. So share
Yeah.
with folks, where can they find you? What can they expect to see?
Yeah. So you can pretty much find me on all platforms at Engineering Women or Engineering Women AZ. That's LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. We
Hmm.
have a YouTube channel as well. I post here
Okay.
and there
Yep.
some things that go on. And then Twitter. We're on Twitter
Okay, great.
for the
Yeah, which is now
kids,
X. Yeah,
the
yeah,
kiddos. Yeah.
yeah. Awesome. Well, thank
um,
you so
yeah.
much. This was fantastic, folks. Again, if there's anything you got out of this, is that we're super excited. Entrepreneurship can be the way for you to find your freedom and also start with yourself. Believe in
Yes.
yourself and the rest will pave its path. So thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me.
Okay.